everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rulla and this community is all about growth, self-development, and becoming the best version of ourselves. So if you're interested in that, definitely make sure to subscribe. Today's video is actually part 4. I was literally blown away by the number of views my online dating video got, part 1. And I told myself that when that video hit 500 views, it would just make sense to do a part 4. So first off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched my online dating videos. It means the world to me, and just having so many views on that one video just inspires me to make more videos for you guys. I've had this video idea for part 4 for a while now, and it's going to be all about first dates. I've had a lot of questions come in. Where should I go for a first date? Who should plan the first date? So this video is going to be a one-stop shop all for first dates. I'm going to talk about some do's and don'ts for conversation starters. I'm going to talk about appropriate attire to wear, and I'm also going to talk about just online dates in general, how to go about them, and give you guys some really valuable tips. So I just want to give a plug for my first 3 online dating videos. They really speak for themselves, but part 1 is an online dating video all about the apps LUXY and MILLIONAIREMATCH. So I give my thoughts on those platforms. If you have any questions about online dating, what platforms to use, I highly recommend watching part 1. Part 2 is how to date with intent and purpose. So if you're just done with that aimlessly, casually dating, hooking up phase, and you really want to get serious about your love life, then part 2 is definitely for you. And last but not least, part 3 is if you've really done that inner work and you're ready to attract your soulmate. Part 3 is all about what you can do to attract your dream partner. Let's get into today's video. So the first thing I want to talk about is just planning a first date. I've had questions come up from a lot of people asking me, who should be the one to initiate it? Where should we go? Is a coffee date okay? Personally speaking, I always wait for the male to initiate the first date. You don't have to go by this at all. Once again, these videos are just kind of my opinion, but you guys should date in the way that makes you feel most comfortable. So I personally do not initiate first dates. I always wait until, I'm asked out from a man. And yeah, that's basically just my thoughts on that. Now, in terms of same-sex partnerships, I'm not too sure about who would ask in that case. I guess it would just be free flowing as to, whoever's vibing and wants to take that initiative, then definitely do so. But personally speaking, in a typical female-male relationship, I think a male should definitely initiate the first date, and something along the lines of, hey, how does Friday night sound for you? I'd love to take you out. It's appropriate for either the male to just go ahead and plan the place, reserve it and let the girl know, or to ask her, hey, what kind of food do you like? But I think there is just a special place in every woman's heart for a man who can plan and who really seems to just take charge, make the reservations. It shows that he cares. It shows that he wants to impress her. And definitely speaking, on a first date, women want to be taken care of. They want to make sure that, hey, this man knows how to treat a lady. So guys, it's your time to shine, and it's perfect either way. If the guy has a place in mind, he can go ahead and book it. If he wants to ask her, do you have any dietary restrictions? I would definitely stray away from just, what do you want to do? Right? Or like, well, what do you have in mind? Throw some suggestions out there. No girl just wants a guy who's like, oh, I don't care. It just shows that he's not taking the date seriously. It shows that he probably just wants to Netflix and chill. So definitely, as a man, take charge, whether that means asking her, you know, hey, what kind of food do you like? You want to see a show? Would you want to rather be indoors or outdoors? Kind of getting a scope for what she's looking for and then acting upon it. For first date, I definitely think you guys should by now have at least a small picture of what this person's like. I mean, clearly, if you're going out with a vegan or a vegetarian, that's something you should take into account before planning a date. Or let's say someone is very like into nature and outdoors and sports. Maybe you can do some sort of outdoor activity. Curate a first date idea based on the person. Don't just go to the same restaurant you've been going to with your ex. It's always nice to kind of have a new experience with that person. Something that's geared to both of your guys' interests and passions, that would be the best. Personally speaking, I think dinner and drinks is just my favorite first date, just because A, it really gives me a chance to get to know the person, B, it's longer than a coffee date, and C, it's more formal than a coffee date. So I know there's a lot of people nowadays who like coffee dates. I personally don't. I could see why some people like them because it is a shorter meeting time, less expectations, but that's the same reason why I don't like them, because I personally, when I'm going on a date, it's serious for me. It's not just like, oh, well, I'm gonna go on another date, walk in the park. I'm usually looking at this person in a serious way. And I think just dinner is more serious. Coffee is too casual. That's something you do with friends. That's something you do with, I don't know, that's just something you do with like a buddy, in my opinion. Also, I think it can create some awkwardness because at most coffee shops, you walk in right away and have to place your order before you sit down. So I think that can cause some nervousness because you don't have time to like sit, read the menu, chat a bit. But I would say that coffee dates are a good kind of starting point if you're not too sure on the person, because at least, once again, they're shorter in duration, there's less expectations. So if you're looking for something casual, or maybe you're not too sure about someone and you kind of want to scope them out, definitely coffee date is fine. But personally speaking, I'm all about the dinner and drinks. I just like it because you have a chance to sit down, talk to a person, see, you know, how they are over dinner, what they like to eat, if they drink or not. And it's a comfier situation, in my opinion. Now, in terms of wardrobe for a first date, to be honest, I'm kind of that lame chick who always just gravitates towards like jeans, cute tops, and some wedges or heels. That's kind of like my go-to outfit, just because A, with dresses, like it can get a little tricky because there's a fine line between like a party dress, you know, like a nightclub dress versus like a summery dress versus, I don't know, there's just, I think dresses are just, the variety of dresses out there, right? It might be too short, it might be too revealing, it might be too bright. I just personally don't really like wearing dresses until I really, really know the person and kind of what the date has in store. But I usually, honestly, for a first date, just go with like nice black pants or nice jeans, maybe some high-waisted jeans. And once again, I'll usually do wedges or just like a short heel and a cute top. I think you really can't go wrong with it. It's comfy, it's casual, dress appropriate for the occasion, whether you're gonna be outside or inside. Don't show too much skin. And I'm not saying this because the person might judge you. Personally speaking, I like to carry myself in a very professional way. And there's nothing wrong with revealing clothes. That's not what I'm saying. I do wear revealing clothes at the right time and place. But I think for a first date, you're just kind of figuring someone out. Imagine a guy rolling up to a date in, I don't know, a tank top with his muscles all out. Like, it might be nice, but it might make you look at them in a certain light, especially considering it's the first date. So I would say really don't overthink it. Like, I don't like putting all this thought into my outfit because, once again, it's like, it could be a first and last date, your first time meeting this person. So just play it safe, jeans, a cute top, maybe if you have a a romper or a jumpsuit or something comfy and casual and cute, and something that carries you in a professional way. Now I'm going to talk about conversation do's and don'ts. So this is obviously just really hard to pinpoint what's a conversation do and what's a conversation don't, because it really just depends on the dynamic. Sometimes you meet someone and it's just like, wow, like you feel so close to them and you feel like you can tell them a lot. Other times you meet people and they're more reserved and more conservative and you kind of feel like you're walking on eggshells. So I like to always make the conversation really natural. You don't really need to talk about anything too serious. I would say most of the basic things shouldn't be off the table, like talking about your job, your interests, your family. I think those are pretty basic conversation starters, right? Like, oh, do you have any siblings? How old are they? Are you guys close? Like things along that line, totally appropriate. I would even go as far as to say, what are you looking for? That is a valid question. It's a fine line, right? Because you can say like, what are you looking for versus, oh, I just got out of a relationship a year ago and now I really want to settle down and meet my future wife. Like that's overboard. But to just casually say, yeah, and right now I'm looking for a serious relationship. That's totally fine. I don't know why people get freaked out sometimes when they go on dates and they're like, oh my God, this person wants to settle down. I'm like, well, good thing they told you. The first date is an opportunity for you to say what you're looking for you to say what part of your life you're in, right? So be honest. Don't expect too much from the other person. Like for instance, personally speaking, I don't want kids, and maybe that's something that'll change, but at this point right now, I don't want kids. For example, let's say I was on a date in the past and someone said like, oh, I want like 5 kids. I would automatically be like, this isn't gonna work. But once again, it's a first date. So like, don't put so much pressure that this person needs to fit like every single category, because you're gonna find out about them more as you go. But if there is a deal breaker, then that is something to watch out for. Like personally speaking, if I was 2000% on I don't want kids and there was someone who was like 2000% on I do want kids, then yeah, that's a deal breaker, right? So something like that, definitely watch out for. But let's say something like, oh, this person's really into sports and you're not. That is not a deal breaker, you guys. It's nice to have variation in a relationship. It's nice to have a balance, right? You don't need to find a partner who has the same kind of job, who has the same interests. Like, it's nice to have a little bit of spice in there. Things that should not be talked about: previous relationships. Once again, you can say, oh, I got out of a relationship last year, but to go into depth about your ex or why you broke up, stay away from. Anything that has a negative connotation, stay away from. Just anything, whether it's losing a job, whether it's not having enough money, whether it's a really bad breakup. Don't taint that first date with these negative experiences. Good topics of conversation are talking about your job, talking about your hobbies, your interests, what you like to do for fun, your family, what you're looking for, kind of what part of your life you're at, anything really along those lines. Things to stay away from too deep: asking why someone broke up with their ex, asking when someone wants to get married. Things about like drugs, I would stay away from. I'd stay away from cussing, that's for sure. I would also stay away from just anything that's too heavy, too deep, or just negative. I just want to say, in general, first dates are nerve-wracking, to say the least. So keep that in mind. First dates, it's just like literally riding a bicycle for the first time. It's never going to be perfect. And that's something that I always encourage my friends, especially those who are single and go on a date or two and just are like, I'm never going to meet someone. I always try to look at first dates as a first day at a new school or a first day at a new job. When you look at first dates in that regard, it's not like this is literally predicting my future. This is literally the training period. This is just me getting to know if this environment is right for me. And I think if you look at your first date in that light, instead of this high pressure situation where it's like this person's either gonna like knock me off my socks or be the worst, it's usually somewhere in between. And that's like what I try to tell people is it's rare that you're gonna have an amazing first date. It's literally rare. And it's rare that you are gonna have a horrible first date. Most dates are gonna lie in this kind of middle point, in this gray zone, where it's like, oh, okay, it was good, it was a little weird, it was a little awkward. It'd be cool if this was different, but it was a fun time. That's how most first dates are gonna go. And I think just going into it with that expectation and knowing like, hey, this is just my first date. I can, see this person 2-3 other times before I really make a decision if I want to go further or not. I think that's the best way to look at it, you guys, because it's not nice just going on a date and completely ruling someone out, like blocking them, being like, never again. I mean, unless there was like a huge red flag or something that was like, stay away. But if you go on a date and it's just average or okay, but nothing's like amazing, give it another shot. Definitely give it another shot, because you hear these stories of people who are like, we had an okay first date, we had an okay first kiss, but guess what? They're together 30, 40, 50 years down the line because it's not about the first meeting. When you think about your job, or if you're in school right now, when you think of your first day there, was it the best day? No, it was probably nerve-wracking. It was probably not that great. It was you probably said some dumb things, right? But as time goes, that's really, really, really when the fun starts. That's when you start figuring out things about each other. That's when you guys grow. I hope this video really inspires you guys to take the pressure off, take it easy, don't go too deep, right? Thinking about your outfit for an hour, or like, what should I talk about? What should I not? Keep it casual. If the date is horrible, then kindly text and say, hey, I don't think I see us meeting again. I wish you all the best of luck. That is just awesome to send someone that and let them know that, hey, you know what? I'm giving you a heads up, but I don't really think I'm going to see you again. If the date is okay to good, then definitely give it a second chance, and you never know what might come of it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment below any tips you guys have for a first date, maybe some experiences. I'd like to know if you guys are currently in a relationship. Tell me about your first date. Was it like the best thing ever? Because I personally have never had that amazing first date experience. Like, I've had some really great first dates, but I never went on a first date and from the first 5 minutes I was like, oh, this is the one. Like, it's always been something where it's like, takes time. So I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. Thank you so much for watching once again. Check out part 2, part 3, and part 4. I'll link them in the description. Actually, check out part 1, 2, and 3 because this is part 4. And comment also what you guys would like to see for part 5. So anything along the dating lines, I'm open to it all. Let me know and I will definitely film it. See you guys soon.